When I'm not estimating the value of my YouTube channel's IPO based on the amount of monthly users I have at around $4 to $5 billion, I like to answer questions and comments that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Hey Sean, theory question I've been trying to figure out. Help a brother out. Why A minor 7 chord is just a minor chord with the 7th of the scale added right? However, there's a 7 chord and a major 7 chord, and they're different. Why? It seems that since a 1-3-5 is major and 1-3-5-7 should be major 7 or shortened to 7, A minor 7 seems to be a minor chord with. This is the thing about music theory that probably is the most confusing and makes the least amount of sense. I have a little bit of issue with like some of the naming, but let's break down this question and why I think this is one of the most confusing music theory things that people get daunted by and then just kind of give up. All right? So, this has to do with chords and scales. Chords come from scales. The scale is just a group of notes. We use the major scale to define pretty much every single group of notes imaginable. Let's do A major real quick. All right, we've got 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 6, 7, otherwise known as whole, half, whole, half. That's just a formula we get to arrive at notes to sound good. All of Western music essentially just uses the major scale, even if it's minor chords, which we'll talk about in a second, to build chords and get the notes that sound right to us. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, an octave, or 1 again, okay? So in the spirit of this question, we use these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, to come up with chords. You take the first, third, and fifth of the major scale to make a major chord. So 1, skip the 2, 3, skip the 4, 5. 1, 3, 5. You combine those, we have an A, a C sharp, and an E. It doesn't matter that you know the names of the notes for what we're doing right now, just the names of the numbers and where we get them. So 1, 3, 5 is how we spell a chord, a major chord, right? 1, 3, 5, A, C sharp, E. However you combine these three notes, a lot of different ways to combine these three notes, it's going to give you a major chord, okay? Now, my first gripe is that when we have the 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, right there, that's how you spell an A major 7 chord, all right? Now, what if we have an A7 chord? That's actually a 1, 3, 5 flat 7. This is the first thing that makes no sense, is that the shorthand for dominant 7 is just get rid of the word dominant. A7 is a note that is a chord that is not in the major scale, its own major scale, right? It's a 1, 3, 5 with a flat 7. Now, this chord exists in A's major scale, but exists when you get the first, third, fifth, and seventh note away from E, okay? So when you see a 7 chord, that's usually the 5th chord in a scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C sharp, D, E. That's why E7 will always lead you home to A, okay? Now, I think an A7 should be an A major 7. We just assume major for other stuff. Again, that's just a confusing thing that you just kind of have to memorize. The minor scale is built from the exact same stuff, okay? So let's look at A minor. We have different intervals that get us there, but the notes to be fret-wise, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7. Note-wise, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. The A minor scale is essentially the exact same thing as the C major scale starting on A. They're the same scale. One starts on an A, one starts on a C. But because of the same scales, like sometimes they have different names. This can be confusing too. Now we can build chords by spelling them through the minor scale, even though it gets you into trouble, all right? So if we go 1, 3, 5 in A minor using the minor scale, we get 1, 3, 5, A, C, E. And then, you combine them a lot of different ways you can combine them. Any way you can combine a 1, 3, 5 from the A minor scale, you get an A minor chord. Technically, if we were to spell it out, the correct way to spell it would be using the major scale values. So if we took A major and we took a 1 flat 3, 1, 2, 3, if we flatten that 3, 1 flat 3, 5, that's how you get an A minor chord. So when it comes to technically spelling the chord correctly, we're always using the major notes and altering them. So if you wanted to make an A minor 7, you'd have a 1, a flat 3, a 5, and a flat 7, which would give you 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. okay? So we're altering the major scale to get the minor notes. When you'd be like, Sean, why don't I just use a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7 from the minor scale and spell it from the minor scale? That usually works, actually, with an exception, and that's minor 6, okay? People be like, well, a minor 6 would be a 1, a 3, a 5, and then maybe the 6th note from the minor scale. Now, actually, it's a 1, 3, 5, 6th note from the major scale that gives you a minor 6. This is another gripe that I have. And again, you know, I say I have these gripes for rules that were created and have been around and done a great job since way before I was born. But you know what? That's just my personal exceptionalism that I like to add to every little lesson. Speaking of exceptional, this video is sponsored by Sweetwater and Hosa. I'm rocking the Hosa cable right here. These are my go-to cables, whether it's guitar cables, XLR cables, even just we were talking about, I did a video the other day with a looper pedal, and we were talking about how a must-have accessory is just a microphone on-off switch. Hosa makes that. And again, why you'd want that is if you're looping your voice, you can actually just like shut your microphone off while you're in a loop so it doesn't pick up extraneous noise. That is a super valuable thing to have. Hosa is the best cable/accessory company in the game. I'm actually really good friends with Hosa too. They actually, their factory is by my place out west. And just amazing people there. Great company. Along with Sweetwater, you get your candy, you get your cables, you help support the channel when you click the affiliate link and get yourself an extra guitar cable, because I promise you, you need an extra guitar cable. I've got a bunch of Hosa cables, and somehow I always still need more. So I'm probably going to click my own affiliate link and order myself some Hosa cables, even though I'm not sure if that disqualifies me from the affiliate program. I probably shouldn't say that I'm doing that. Maybe I could just pay for it. Anyways, get yourself some Hosa cables. Thank you, Sweetwater, sponsoring the video. Back to chord spelling, all right? The nice thing about always thinking of the major scale and then altering it is I think you actually do get a better feel and vibe for where chords will sit and exist in a scale, right? So much of how I teach music is having it be contextual, right? When it's like, oh, well, you know, you could play an A7. It's just a 1, 3, 5, flat 7 from the A major scale. I prefer not to think about that. I prefer to think of the 7 chord, the dominant 7 chord, just being as the 5 chord in any key. So if I'm going to play a 7, right, I'm not thinking of A major with the flat 7. I'm thinking of just the notes starting in the key where this exists, where A is the 5 of. We can count backwards, A through, if A is 5, this is like some kind of like weird sobriety test. A, G, F, E, D is 1, okay? So A is the 5th degree in the key of D. So therefore, if I'm using the notes of D major, and I start on an A, it's actually always going to give me the right stuff as far as like, okay, that the 7 will naturally be flattened. I don't really have to think about altering anything. I'm just using the notes in D major, and then I just end up getting myself all the good stuff, which is what we're always worried about, right? So, chord spelling, and then just like, you know, the naming of chords, I think is something super important, which is why maybe we just want to take a second to go through all of them really quickly, and then do an arpeggio, which is a great way to start learning the spelling of each chord, okay? So, let's stick with, let's move it to the people's key of G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. We got 1 sharp to deal with. We can be like, all right, let's take a 1, 3, 5 in G. 1, 3, 5, G, B, D, G major. Let's go to the second note in this key, which is A, and then let's take a 1, 3, 5 from there. So if this is our 1, we're going to skip this 1, 3, 5. That'll give us the same as if we were in the minor scale, 1, 3, 5, 1 flat 3, 5. The 2 chord would be A minor. Let's take a 1, 3, 5 from the third note, 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 3, 5, B, D, F sharp. That's a B minor. So now you're starting to get the picture that, okay, the 1 chord is a major, or a major 7 chord, G major 7, all right? The 2 chord is A minor 7. The 3 chord is B minor 7, if you wanted to add the 7th note away. The beautiful thing about minor chords is when you add the 7th note away, no matter what key you're in, if it's a minor chord that exists in the key, and you add the 7th, it's going to give you a minor 7 chord. How it's different is the major chords 2 of them will give you major 7 chords. One of them, that 5 chord, will give you dominant 7 chord. Even if this doesn't make sense, thinking about it is a great step because eventually it will make sense. The 4 chord in the key, C, 1, 3, 5, C, E, G, C major 7. The 5 chord in this key, D, 1, 3, 5 is major again, D, dominant 7. The 6 chord in this key, E, 1, 3, 5, E, minor. The 7 chord in this key, F sharp, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, flat 5, that's F sharp, diminish. So, as you can kind of see, learning to spell chords, having them play through your chalk-painted Telecaster, through your amazing hose cable, into your amp, into your ears, is the best way to learn music theory, even though it's not a perfect system as far as visualizing and naming things go. It's something that you need to know that will make you a better musician, guaranteed. Oh, look, an international comment. Der Tipp ist ein Spinner, wie gut das man den abstellen kann. It's been a while since I took German class, so let me just put this into Google Translate, see what it says real quick. The guy is a weirdo. It's good that you can stop him. Easily my favorite part about this entire gig is when I get something from a foreign language and I put it into Translate, and there's that split second while it translates, when I'm praying that it is something salty and mean, and then it comes and delivers. That's the best feeling that I get from being like an internet personality or whatever. The guy is a weirdo. It's good that you can stop him. You know what? I guess I give a very stoppable vibe to the German people. Thanks for watching. Anyone who can do what you demonstrated don't need any lesson from you. You know, the more I think about this is actually probably the dumbest comment I've actually gotten in my entire career. Anybody who can do what you're demonstrating doesn't need your demonstrations. This is how teaching works, bro. Like, the whole point in teaching something is to get them to be able to do what you're doing. So yes, if someone can do it, they wouldn't need the demonstration. It's like every now and then you just see something that is so incredibly stupid that it just, it resets like the baseline for just humanity and the idiocy that is able to apparently this person was able to use a keyboard and type it. How this person learned how to type, what demonstrations they saw of maybe someone learning how to type, it boggles my mind. My brain is still a little broken from this comment, but thank you very much. Junk, compared to a made at Martin guitar. So you're not talking about a Martin guitar, you're talking about a Mexican guitar. Plain and simple, not interested. Put that in your title. Made in Mexico guitar is not made at Martin guitar. This is almost equally as dumb as the last comment, just for the sheer amount of grammatical errors and the amount of all caps that it uses. When you see a lot of all caps in a YouTube comment, you know you're in for something really intelligent. But this is to the sentiment of it. This is on a video I did on this guitar unboxing on one of the Martin X series, which again are made in Mexico Martins, but I stand by that this is dollar for dollar one of the best guitars I've ever played. Right now it's in an open tuning DAG. Guess what, guys? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a guitar, and it's solidly made. Electronics are good, stays in tune. Which again, this is an aggressively down tuning that I'm using. It's DAD down a step, which I did in that song for the song I posted the other day. You should check that out. But yeah, people were up in arms. It doesn't have a solid top, and it's like if you just want a guitar that fits really well, that you can sit and play. It's made by Martin. You know it still passes a standard threshold of quality control, even though it's not the USA factory. The Mexico Martins are really good, I think. I also don't care that it's laminate because it's more durable. Again, if you don't know the difference between laminate versus solid wood, a solid wood top is just like a solid one piece of wood. I think all the ones that come out of the American factory are all solid all the way around. So again, yeah, they resonate, they sustain. They probably do sound better, for sure. Again, all that stuff is objective. But the laminate ones are more durable, built-in tuner, great gig bag, and it's just like a great guitar to have around and play. And I do feel like for the most part, if I'm not like tracking an album or something, The difference in sound, which yes, is for sure noticeable between this and my D35, which is my all-time favorite guitar. But like, I still enjoy playing this guitar just as much as I enjoy playing almost any guitar, and it's under $700, which again, it's kind of hard to find like a decent instrument these days. So I kind of get the sentiment that, you know, it's not a solid top. What are you doing? It's just a lie. But also, it's like, come on, quit the gatekeeping. It's a good guitar, fits great, super durable. I love it. Just let people enjoy the things that they like to enjoy. Listening homework, I'm going to throw you to the new Hiatus Kaiyote song, my favorite neo-soul band of all time, one of my favorite bands of all time. Just released a new track. Full album's coming this summer on my birthday. What a great gift. Thank you, Hiatus Kaiyote. So check that out. Thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring the video. Get yourself some Hosa cables. Hosa is the best. Cables are great. Dollar for dollar, best cables in the game, if you ask me. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section, Instagram, the website. I'll talk to y'all soon.